All right. Hi, fans of high quality entertainment. I am with Sam St. John and
Oh.
Christopher Profi and his son
Alan.
Alan. Okay.
Yeah. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I'm just old.
How's it going, Sam?
I'm good, Chris. How are you, brother?
Doing good.
I like the formal Christopher. I feel like you need a black tie or something.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
It's been a crazy day. I had to leave work and then go pick up Alan, and he only lives like 15 minutes away, but traffic and everything, I'm like, I got to get back by 5 o'clock.
You have important business meetings.
Exactly.
So we are here to rank the songs on Summer in Paradise by the Beach Boys. That's my first joke.
Zing.
We're here to rank the songs on the Beach Boys' Love You. And I think I heard parts of this album through the years, but I wasn't that interested in it.
Yeah.
And then when I became more of a Beach Boy, I've always really liked the Beach Boys. But when I became more of a fan, like I bought this. Of course, I've got Pet Sounds. That's Why God Made the Radio.
Mm-hmm.
I just got this, and I guess it's I haven't listened to it yet, but it's in stereo.
Oh, cool.
That was gifted to me. The Beach Boys Surf and Safari, mono and stereo. One of their best, Still Cruising.
Yeah, well, it's got the Fat Boys on it.
Sunflower, which maybe we can rank the songs on next if you're interested.
Okay.
Friends, another one I'd like to rank the songs on.
Yep.
Feel Flows with Sunflower and Surf's Up.
Mm-hmm.
Sail on Sailor with Carl and the Passions and Holland.
Those are great albums.
Which I just saw that Blondie Chaplin released a new single today.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that one for Wild Honey, the Beach Boys Today, the Beach Boys Party.
Wow.
Summer Days. Yes, I've become a fan. And another one, Beach Boys Party in stereo, Beach Boys Today, Beach Boys Smiley Smile, and Brian Wilson's Presents Smile. I haven't even listened to this yet. Reimagines Gershwin.
Oh, yeah. Alan really likes that album.
Mm-hmm. I'm a fan.
I love this one. I just wasn't made for these times.
Oh, yeah.
And I haven't even listened to this one. I just got it in a used CD store, his debut album.
Yep.
That's all I got. So, okay.
So are we live?
We are live. Stud Muffin, you're a dude. Yes, I am a dude. I've been told that many times. Okay, Sam, you go first. How did you get to know the Beach Boys and become a fan?
Well, it wasn't because of Glenn.
No.
But no, I mean, I've mentioned it a few times. I had a greatest hits cassette growing up that my parents would listen to in the car, obviously. So I knew all the surf tunes, the 2.5 minute, Beach Boys early hits. Like I don't even think it went up to Pet Sounds. I think it was all like the surf car stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's easy to latch onto for anybody. And it's still fun to listen to, at a summer cookout or something. But it wasn't until college that I really latched on to Pet Sounds. I had bought That's Why God Made the Radio when it came out. I really, really liked that a lot. And Pet Sounds, it took me a few times to really get into it, probably 6 or 7 listens. And now it's my favorite album of all time, with God Only Knows being my favorite song of all time. And, from that, I watched the Love and Mercy biopic that really intrigued me about Brian's life. And so then I started getting into the Brian solo stuff. I've read his book, the official autobiography, not the first one that he put out in the 80s, but the official one. And yeah, from that point, I've just really enjoyed, like digging into all the deeper cuts and some of the box sets that you showed. A lot of that is really, really fun.
Yeah. Is there anything you still don't have?
I have probably I'd say well over half of it I don't have.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've never listened to Summer in Paradise or like Still Cruising. I don't have, but
Yeah.
no, I mean, a lot of that stuff you find is, if you want like a new version of it, it's out of print.
Yeah.
So many of those CDs are hard to find.
Yeah, I was lucky to find some of these, like a used CD store, like even that's like for $5 or
Yeah, you can still find that like at Barnes and Noble here at the
Yeah.
bookstore.
yeah. Well, I guess Chris doesn't want to be part of this live chat.
He doesn't love us like the Beach Boys do.
So what I was thinking when we rank the songs, because there's 14 songs, what we can do is go around and do the first four. Like you can say the four bottom songs and just name them, and talk about them if you like. And we just need to wait for Chris to come back.
Yeah.
I'll mention this here. The Beach Boys' "Love You" is the 21st studio album by the Beach Boys, released April 11th, 1977. The album was largely recorded in late 1976. There's Christoph again.
So, can you hear me?
Yep.
The problem is I'm doing this on my phone because I don't have a laptop. So a call came in, and then it just knocked me off. I don't know why.
Tell Jeff Witcher to stop calling you.
Sorry about that.
Is this the best album to start, or do you prefer another one?
No.
We'll get into it. But anyway, blah blah blah. In the decade since its release, "Love You" has remained divisive among fans. It has developed a cult following, and it is regarded by some as one of the band's best albums. By some. So, Chris and Alan, how did you become fans of the Beach Boys?
You want me to talk first? Or you want me? Well, I always knew the Beach Boys music, kind of like what Sam was saying. I knew the early surf stuff, and I was like, yeah, those songs are great. And there's who doesn't like sunshiny, fun music, like Sam was saying, to play at a barbecue or something like that. But then around 2000, they started coming out with these 2 first CDs.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Let me just check some of these out, because they were albums that I'd never heard before. And I kind of knew that they were post Pet Sounds albums. And I started listening to them. I'm like, oh my gosh, the Beach Boys were so much more than just the surf songs.
Yeah.
They were psychedelic, they were country, they were folk, they were, a little bit of everything, progressive. And I was like, wow. And I just became a fan of that sound, because I just thought that they were just a surf band. So that's kind of these 2 first CDs kind of helped me get into listening to more of the Beach Boys. So I don't know about Alan.
While growing up, I'd heard the really popular songs like "God Only Knows," and "Good Vibrations" and stuff like that. And I always remember really, really liking those songs, and wanting to. And I heard that Pet Sounds. Eventually, learned Pet Sounds is supposed to be this amazing album, so I listened to it. And the first time I listened to it, probably like a couple of years ago, and I was like, okay, it's pretty good.
Album. Yeah.
Regular stuff I've heard before from the Beatles or whatever. That's what I thought. And then I listened to it again, and the second time I listened to it, just like I was like, oh wow, I don't know, I just really, really like this. And so I just went down a rabbit hole, and now I've listened to almost every single Beach Boys album and a bunch of the Brian Wilson solo stuff. I love the Beach Boys.
Yeah. With Pet Sounds, for me, I always really liked it, but it was just about a year ago, it just hit me how great it is and why it gets the accolades it does. And by the way, Alan, I know you want to say, wow, I can't believe I'm on a live chat with Canadian Stud Muffin.
Yeah.
I know. I understand.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, he's never been on a live chat. And
oh, really? Yeah.
And here you are. Yeah.
You're doing well so far.
Sam St. John. And Larry Graves.
Yeah, you just can't believe it.
No.
Yeah.
This is awesome, man.
Oh, there's a 10-hour remix of Ding Dang.
Oh, wow.
Ding Dang.
So, Alan, this is when you get to explain why your favorite Beach Boys member is Bruce Johnston.
That would be a hard one to hard reasons to come up with. The Nearest Faraway Place I like that song a lot. That's really
The Nearest Faraway Place.
Yeah, I think he wrote that, so that's a reason.
Yeah. Okay, what I was thinking we'll do is, because there's 14 songs, we'll all name our 4 bottom songs and whatever you want to say about them, and then we'll go around one by one for the top 10. Okay. So Sam, you go first with your bottom 4.
Bottom 4, and I was saying how before we came on that the bottom ones were the easiest to put down there. I just had to figure out where to put them, because for me the bottom 4 are bad, like in my opinion. Yeah. Number 14 for me is the Dennis and Brian tune, I Want to Pick You Up. It's a very, very interesting tune lyrically. It's like they're comparing their lover to a baby. Pat him on the butt. It's an interesting song, and you've got those gruff, Dennis and Brian vocals, because this is about the time that Dennis was doing Pacific Blue. Yeah. But it's an odd song. It's really odd. And I saw somebody in the comments had mentioned this song, but it's my number 13, and that's Johnny Carson. I think it's a goofy tune. Obviously singing about Johnny Carson, the talk show host, and just talk about how he, deals with boring guests, and how he's got a great voice. It's interesting that they just decided to write about Johnny Carson, but that's a Mike and Carl tune. Number 12 is Brian's song about astrology, and that's Solar System. Again, an interesting song about he sees the animal shapes in the stars, and it's kind of I would say kind of novelty. I know Brian kind of went through different phases. Like he opened a vegetable like health food store in the 1970, I think. And Brian went down deep rabbit holes about kind of out there stuff at the time, and it would come out in his music. Vegetables on Smile. That's all about Brian's hobby at the time. So anyway, Solar System's my number 12. And number 11 is the end of side A, not because it's a bad song, just because it's short, and that's Ding Dang. Kind of a silly song. I think Roger McGuinn had a hand in it as well from the Byrds. Yeah. And I know that they just put out a bunch of cool merch on Brian Wilson's website, a bunch of Ding Dang like hats and shirts and stuff that look kind of cool. With kind of chubby Brian Wilson on the front with his kind of long, oily hair. Yeah. So everybody wants some of that on their chest. But right. So that's my 4. Number 11 with Ding Dang.
Yep. All right.
Okay.
Cool ranking so far. I don't know who you want to go next, Larry.
Go ahead, you two.
Okay. So first off, I just want to say that these songs were very hard to rank for me, because I really do like all the songs. And here's my thing too. Like, I know some of the lyrics can be a little questionable and sort of cringy, but for me, it's the melody and the arrangement that really I focus on. So even though the lyrics are kind of strange at some point, like my ear still goes to those melodies and those synthy arrangements. And so I personally like all the songs, but definitely more than others. So I'll just kind of tell you what I have so far. So 14, I put Let's Put Our Hearts Together, which again, I really like that song. He sings it with his first wife, Marilyn Wilson. And it's a great song, but it's going at 14. I feel like, I'd rather put other songs without Marilyn Wilson on them, further up the list. Number 13 is I Want to Pick You Up. And again, like Sam was saying, sort of cringy lyrics, but I love the melody of this song. I put melody here. I love the chord changes. And again, is it about a child? Is it about a lover? I have no idea. The pat on her butt. It should bother me more than it does, but I don't know. It's a fun. I'm going to say it's a fun song.
I just picture a baby and he's patting the little baby on the butt, and it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Number 12, I put Johnny Carson. It's kind of got this cool, like, little slinky arrangement to it. I love the ending, where they get into that sort of "Who's the man that we admire?"
I love that. Yeah.
Part. And then my number 11 is "Love Is a Woman." And again, I love this tune. The chord changes in the verse are really cool. Where I think Al Jardine sings the verse part of it. And again, all these songs are great, but obviously we're ranking them. So let's put our hearts together. I Want to Pick You Up, Johnny Carson, and then Love Is a Woman.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay. Alum?
So my number 14 is Ding Dang.
Ding Dang.
My reasoning is that I wish it was longer.
Yeah.
I wish that's why it's my bottom spot. I guess they probably thought we would only be able to bear with the 58-second version.
Yeah.
I really like that song. And then my number 13 is Let Us Go On This Way. That's a great song too. I really like that song. But I like all the weird songs kind of a lot better. I feel like that's kind of the most normal song. So number 12 is Let's Put Our Hearts Together. I like that song. The vocals are very rough.
Mm-hmm.
I really do like that song though too. I like the kind of big band sort, not really, but like those sort of instruments sort of replicated with the synths. And that's a really cool song. And then my number 11 is Airplane. I really like that song too. It's about, like seeing your lover down on the ground. Can't wait to see her face. It's just, there's better songs. So yeah, that's my number 11 is Airplane.
Okay, cool. Well, I like all of the songs on this album, Sam. So I'm a bigger fan of the Beach Boys than you are.
You are. You're essentially a Beach Boy.
Okay, my number 14 is Ding Dang, and the same thing as Alan. It's just because it's so short, but it's so catchy. So I even love that song. And then number 13 is Mona. And the first time I heard this whole album, like the lyrics are so, they're either cheesy or really simple, or like Brian Wilson isn't the greatest for lyrics, but after, the first listen or two, you just like you were saying, you catch all the melodies and all that.
Yeah.
And I don't care what they're singing. It's just the songs are so catchy. So number 12 is The Night Was So Young, which I love. And number 11 is I'll Be, what is it? I'll Be He's Nice.
I bet he's nice.
I bet he's nice, yeah. I bet he's nice. Yeah. And one thing too is with all of these Beach Boys albums, sometimes I don't know who's singing, and I don't even really care. It's just it's hard sometimes to pick which one is singing sometimes, but
I sometimes get Dennis and Brian mixed up because they both have that gravelly voice.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is like all four of us, it's a totally different ranking so far. Like,
yeah,
that's crazy. But
yeah, there are some surprises there in both lists. Well, all three of y'all's lists.
Yeah. Well, my number 2 is right near the bottom of one of your lists, I think, or 2.
Yeah.
All right. So Sam, you go with number 10.
10, 9, 8, 7.
Well, no, just do 10 and then we'll go around.
Just 10. Okay.
Yeah.
So number 10, I'm going with Roller Skating Child, which is Mike, Carl, and Al. Again, one of those weird kind of lyrics. Apparently it was supposed to be written about Carney Wilson, Brian's daughter. But again, it's one of those things. It's weird to think about if Brian says it's about that, and then, lyrically it's about, doing things together. With this child, but anyway, it's an interesting tune. Thank you, Chris. But yeah, it's not as strong as some of these other ones. I think after this one, they're all fairly good tunes to me. But Roller Skating Child, that was a tough one to rank. because I was trying to juggle it with the ranking with the bottom 4 after that. But yeah, Roller Skating Child's number 10 for me.
Okay.
Cool.
Chris?
Yeah, my number 10 is Solar System. Again, I love the song. It reminds me, I don't know if you guys know the band They Might Be Giants.
Yep.
But I almost feel like Brian was doing stuff that They Might Be Giants ended up doing, years later. There's like a childlike vibe to a lot of these songs. Some of these songs could have been on like a kid's record. And I've talked to Alan about this before. I don't think Brian was going into this going, I'm going to write a silly little child song. Like, this is how he wrote music. Like, these are authentic songs. He wasn't putting on an act or anything. This is how his brain works. So when we listen to this song, we're almost like listening to, I don't want to get deep, but we're like listening to his psyche at this time, which is crazy. So with all that, Solar System number 10.
Okay. Alan?
My number 10 is actually Solar System also.
Wow.
You can't copy your dad. It's one of the rules.
This is a pure.
Yeah. I didn't know his list, and even on his list,
cool.
He's got like code words. Like he doesn't even have the titles written down.
Because I know I'd be sitting right next to him. I didn't want him to see what my list was. So yeah, so Solar System. I like the orchestration of everything. Like after the little do like the ding 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 on the bells or whatever that is, and it's just cool. I like it. I like that song. There's a lot of good learning in there.
Yeah, cool.
You can learn about the solar system, kids.
Yeah.
Forget Pluto.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 10 is pat her on the butt. Maybe that's why Glenn doesn't really care for the Beach Boys sound.
Yeah, because of those deep lyrics.
Yeah, that's number 10. Once again, the lyrics are so different.
Yeah.
But it's still a cute song, and I enjoy it. So it's my number 10.
Cool.
All right, number 9 for me is going to be Airplane. Again, this one was kind of hard to rank. I think this was one of the last ones that I squeezed in there. It's kind of neat because it's got that coda at the end. That I remember because like I hadn't heard this album for a few months. I listened to it earlier this year and then a couple times the last couple days. And I forgot because like when the like that coda started, there's that long enough pause where I'm thinking like, oh, is this the next song? But then I realize it's the same theme. And even though it's kind of Mike Love, it's not too bad. But one thing that we failed to say about this record is that Brian plays most of the instruments.
Yeah.
And they were pushing for him to do a solo thing because he was kind of clear mind. This was about when he started touring with them again after 15 big ones. And that in itself is, I think, cool to me that this was like the last time that he kind of took control of an album until I think that that first solo album that he did. Yeah. So after this, he really faded away again with Dr. Landy, was kind of pulled out. But yeah, anyway, number 9 for me is Airplane.
And one thing, the music, I think the music is great. Like I never really, like I know it's the early years of, the synthesizer and all that, but it doesn't sound like, to me, it doesn't sound dated. It sounds, even today, it sounds fresh and I don't know.
Yeah, no. And I think, what Brian was doing, other bands copied afterwards. Like, it's almost like this minimalist approach.
Yeah. And
then those synths, like you were saying, it was the early stages of synth, but he did such a great job incorporating that into the music.
Yeah.
So my number 9 is Good Time. And all these songs from here on out were so hard to rank. It opens up with some sort of like woodblock or something that I really dig. And I was thinking in my head, like, this could have fit on the album Sunflower. It just has that, it's got that vibe to it. It's really well written. I don't know what else to say. Number 9, Good Time.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
My number 9 is Honking Down the Gosh Darn Highway. That's I mean, it's weird now because I say it's one of my favorite songs, but it's my number 9. But I love that song. Yeah. I mean, Honking Down the Gosh Darn Highway. I like the lyrics too. I I like honking down the gosh darn highway because it's
Yeah.
like fun, and the little guitar riff in the background. That I like that. Yeah, it's a good song.
Number 9.
Yeah, number nine. My number 9 is Johnny Carson.
Oh, okay.
And I guess I used to watch Johnny Carson in the 70s, and I remember around that time that him saying about the Beach Boys wrote a song about him, and I guess supposedly he wasn't too impressed with it. But, because the lyrics are so simple and a little odd, but I love the tune. So, and I didn't at first. It took me, 2 or 3 listens to appreciate it, but I love it now. So it's my number 9.
Okay.
Yeah, Dean Torrance worked a lot with the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
From Jane and Dean.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. My number 8, right? Number 8 is going to be "I'll Bet He's Nice," which has that kind of. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it could have been an older Beach Boys song for sure, and it's very minimal with the lyrics and everything. I mean, it's Dennis and it's all the Wilson brothers, and I think it's interesting because you don't have Mike and Al on a lot of these tracks, so it really is kind of like a true Wilson brothers record. I mean, they always say it's a Brian Wilson solo record, but to get the voices, those 3 voices together, and then I think Chris, you were saying earlier, like Dennis and Brian. I mean, it sounds so similar at this point.
Yeah.
Which Dennis always had like a really good voice, and then he did all the stuff he did to kind of trash it a little bit. But yeah, I mean, "I'll Bet He's Nice" is neat. Yeah, I like it a lot. Again, it's tough to rank them at this point, but that's my number 8.
Okay, cool.
All right, my number 8 is "Ding Dang." Again, we've talked about it before. Really short, but I feel like it brings back that sort of fun quality that he was doing on "Smile" and "Smiley Smile." Yeah, I just wish it was a little bit longer. But you guys had mentioned that, so number 8, "Ding Dang."
My number 8 is "Roller Skating Child," because I mean the lyrics, it's very striking the first time you listen to it. It's like, talking about a kid, whatever, and then it's like, okay, whoa, that's not where I was expecting this to go, but yeah, I like that song a lot. And I heard somewhere that it was 2 different songs apparently, and then they put them together. I don't know if that's true or not, but I heard that. I don't know. But yeah, so that's my number 8. Roller Skating.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was 2 songs.
Yeah,
put together.
The subject matters.
And speaking of Brian Wilson songwriting and like childlike, I guess the next album was going to be adult/child, which was never released. Somebody sent me a link for like a bootleg of it. I just don't want to listen to it unless it's officially released. But have you ever heard it?
I got it.
Do you? Yeah. What is it like?
It's definitely got a bootleg quality to it, but he does an early version of "Hey Little Tomboy," which would appear on MIU. He also does "Shortening Bread" on here, one of his favorite song, right?
So yeah.
But yeah, there's a song he wrote for Frank Sinatra on here that Frank Sinatra didn't end up doing. Yeah, it's interesting, but I was talking to Alan about, I guess supposedly they're going to be coming out with a 15 Big Ones / Love You Deluxe set at some point.
And they're remixing, 15 Big Ones needs to be remixed.
Yeah, so I would love if they put a child on that. But I mean, it's an interesting listen. It's more of the same from what you hear from Love You.
Yeah. I listened to that on YouTube, a bootleg of it or whatever, and I love it. Actually, I really love it. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
It's trying to say, I don't know if a lot of the songs that are on the playlist are actually from Adult Child, but the Adult Child, like whatever that one song, "A Cigarette Butt When You Throw It in the Water" goes, psst, that's a really good song. I like those songs. But yeah, sorry, tangent.
Yeah, I've never listened to a note of it.
Yeah.
I like it. There's big band influence in it.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's
I do like big band.
Yep.
Me too.
it's another strange record, but it's good stuff though.
Yeah. Okay, my number 8 is Airplane, and let's give some love to Mike Love.
Yeah.
No, I think everybody or most Beach Boys fans have their issues with him as a person, but getting to know the Beach Boys albums more, he sings. I like his vocals, is what I'm trying to say, for the most part.
Yeah.
And I think he sings really well on Airplane, and it's a very good song. So that's my number 8.
I think Mike Love is the voice you hear in your head when you hear the Beach Boys. He just has that.
Yeah.
He has that nasal quality to it that I feel was perfect for the radio because it just kind of cut through and made the songs exciting.
Yeah. No, I like Mike's voice. It doesn't bother me. What bothers me are other things, but the voice itself, I mean, like you said, I mean, you think California Girls and Little Deuce Coupe and all that stuff. I mean, you couldn't have the Beach Boys without Mike Love. I mean,
and let's not mention John Stamos. Thank you.
No.
You couldn't have Mike Love without John Stamos. Number 7, right? Number 7 for me is the opening track. Let Us Go On This Way. It was mentioned earlier. I do like that ending. God, please let us go on this way. Very traditional Beach Boys harmonies.
Yeah.
And you can hear. I can just imagine Brian in the studio during that part. Like there's that famous picture of Brian during this time where he's kind of leaning over the soundboard. Again, kind of. I'll call him clean. He looks very clean. But I can just imagine him, like getting back into like that mental place of being able to get all the guys' voices together. And that really shows. It's a short song. I do kind of wish. I mean, I think Alan, you mentioned earlier that it is like the most normal sounding tune. And like I imagine like what their voices might have sounded like, 7 or 8 years before this, when Brian still had that falsetto, nice and clean sounding. But I mean, it works with the rougher voices. And I do like the harmony, laying and the layering at the end is really nice. It's a cool opening track, less than 2 minutes long, but it really stands out. So that's my number 7.
And John Stamos is Satan. That's what I was thinking.
Wow.
He is Satan.
Yeah.
So my number 7 is I'll Bet He's Nice. And I just have again on my notes synths with an exclamation point. I bet he's nice. Do 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 do. And I think doesn't Dennis Wilson do the vocals on there?
I think he does most of them. Yeah,
just a great song. And I mean, who else was making songs like this? The only other person I can think of is like I feel like Lou Reed had sort of like a childlike quality to some of his lyrics. I mean, he was definitely darker, but Brian and Lou Reed were like almost like the outsider music of the time.
Yeah.
So,
and this wasn't planned, but my number 7 is also I'll Bet He's Nice.
Oh,
and it's because I wrote baby because of that middle eight or bridge or whatever it is. That's my favorite. When it breaks into that Carl singing that, I love that. That's really good.
Yeah.
I think it's like y'all are related.
Yeah.
I said it's like you're related,
like father, like son.
He is obsessed with the Beach Boys right now and Brian Wilson. Like every time we're in the car, it's like we're listening to Brian Wilson or the Beach Boys, and he's just obsessed. So when I asked him if he wanted to do this, he's like, "Yeah, let's do it." Like, so anything with the Beach Boys, he's on it. So
okay,
awesome.
My number 7 is Roller Skating Child.
Yeah. Good song.
I love all of these songs. And like Sam was saying, there's so many good Beach Boys harmonies, on some of the songs. The vocals are rougher, but I enjoy them. Like it's not a turnoff to me. But
yeah.
No, me neither.
Okay, number 6. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with "Love Is a Woman."
So treat her tenderly.
Yeah, I mean, the way that you're kind of singing that, Chris, like, I wonder, like, what that would have sounded like when in the '70s, when Sinatra and those guys and Elvis were doing like the hokey crooner stuff. Like, I love crooner music, but when the crooners try to become relevant, like Sinatra, he could have sung this and like added his ad libs to it or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's interesting the way that Brian's voice is almost, I mean, not almost, it is off a bit, but I do like it a lot. It also has like that 50s kind of feel to it. But I mean, yeah, I really like it. I was surprised how much I enjoyed this, on these last couple of listens that I've had this week.
Yeah, that middle part, the dum 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 dum.
Yeah.
Yeah, 50s, like you were saying, the 50s sort of sound.
Yeah, and he was the sole songwriter, I think, on that. So, which makes it like, it gives it that simple, again, 50s kind of feel, which is kind of what Brian's lyrical ability was.
Yeah. Well, my number 6 is "Honking Down the Gosh Darn Highway," and I don't know, I just love the roughness of it. Honking down the gosh darn highway. Yeah, it's I don't know, it's just a fun song, and I mean, who says that in a song? I guess Brian Wilson does. So,
yeah.
And my number 6 is "Mona," because of the
Mona.
50s style sort of lyrics
Yeah.
on it but it's also like it's like it's a guy in the 70s talking about what it used to be like, because he's like it's like he's talking about being a kid again, sort of, and it like he wants, it's sort of, it seems like a longing for a childhood sort of thing. It's just cool. It's cool because it's a super simple song. It's just the same thing over and over again, but it talks about something pretty cool. I like it.
Well, I think that's what Brian was doing at this time, probably trying to tap into his childhood. So, I think, with Dr. Landy, these songs were almost like therapy sessions.
Probably. Yeah. That's a good point.
But,
Okay. My number 6 is "Love Is a Woman." I love Brian's vocals. Maybe they are rough, but I think he sings it really well. And his wife at the time, I love her vocals on it too. I think it's a really sweet song. So that's my number 6.
right.
All right. Top 5.
Now it's getting serious, Sam.
Yeah, we're getting serious now.
It is. Now we're really loving the Beach Boys on "Love You." My number 5 is the song that Chris had way down the list, which is "Let's Put Our Hearts Together" with Brian and Marilyn Wilson. I like it. And it's interesting. I mean, God bless Marilyn Wilson for staying with Brian Wilson as long as she did. I mean, he was really going through the ringer, and because she was a singer and she sang with like who was it, the Honeybees or the what were they called? No, the Blossoms. They were a session group because they sing on the back of "Be True to Your School" with they're like the cheerleaders or the Blossoms. But I think it's a neat song that he got her in there to do a solo, because again, she wasn't just some nepo kind of person coming in there. She actually had a career before. Like, that's how she met Brian. She was singing in the studio. So I think it's a cool song to have them do that together. Unfortunately, their marriage wouldn't last much longer. The Honeys, that's who it was. That's who it was. So yeah, that made it to the top 5. I like the duet.
Cool. Well, my number 5 is "Airplane," and again, I'll say I feel like this song could have been on "Sunflower" or "2020," and you wouldn't have bat an eye. It just kind of fits that groove. But the thing that makes it is that tag at the end. I can't wait.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Because I think Sam was saying you think the song's over.
Yeah.
And then that comes in. I really feel like that makes the song. So 5.
When you said "Airplane," I thought you were going to say, "You ever seen the inside of a Turkish prison?"
Yeah, exactly right. I love that movie.
Yeah. But I digress.
You can't make a movie like that anymore.
No, you can't make any
barely
movie
make it now. I mean, you can barely make it then.
My number 5 is "Love Is a Woman," because of it starts with that like I think it starts with like the little synthy drum sort of, and like a drum machine drum sounding kind of drums, and then the like horns in it. They're like the computerized horns, whatever it is, or if it's real. I think it is synths, but just it's done very well. Brian, I assume, I guess he's playing those synths. It's just cool. It's done very well. I like it. I like that song a lot. "Love Is a Woman."
Yep.
Yeah, it must all be through the keyboard. I'm assuming. I don't think he had the horn section there.
Probably not.
Besides on like "Good Time," I think. But yeah. But
"Love Is a Woman."
Yeah. and the 1, 2, 3, 2.
Yeah. Oh, I love that too. Yeah.
The harmonies. Yep. That's.
Yeah. My number 6, "Love Is a Woman." I was thinking that was the duet he did with his wife at the time, but I was wrong. But yeah, I still love that song. Number 5 is the opening song, "Let Us Go On This Way." I love, at first I thought it was Brian singing, right? But I think it's Carl.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, yeah. It's like you're right into it with him saying that. That's like, okay, what's going on here? But it sounds, that's the other thing about this album. It sounds like they're having some fun, right? It's not like Pet sounds serious or anything, or
well, yeah, and I think it's like you're saying, it's got sort of an off the cuff quality to it.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, let's hit record.
Yeah.
See what happens, and it's got a spontaneous quality to it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And definitely fun. Yeah.
Fun. Yeah.
Yep.
I need to get that.
I got to get that. Yeah.
This is such a great album.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to show that.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Sam.
Me. Number 4. I'm going to go with "Honking Down the Highway" for this, and I really do like Al Jardine. I think after Brian vocally, I think Al might be my favorite. I know it's very close because Carl is so good, but I think after seeing Al live, because I saw Al with Brian in 2016 on the Pet Sounds tour, I was just blown away with how, and even listening to "That's Why God Made the Radio." I mean, Al's voice has stayed the most consistent throughout all the years. I mean, even Mike, with his limited range, you can tell it's gotten weaker.
Yeah.
But Al still sounds really good. And you listen to his voice, you close your eyes, you're thinking he's not in his 80s. Mm-hmm. But like Al could sing this song now in probably the same key and get away with it. But I really like it a lot. Again, it's kind of takes it back to like, again, early Beach Boys, but also has that it's kind of got that little bit of Brian falsetto. He's still trying to hit it in the back, or him hitting that high, honk, honk, honking down the highway.
Yeah.
And I like Al's tone a lot in the vocals on this tune. So it's number 4.
Cool. Well, my number 4 is Mona. And I mean, you guys have already mentioned it already. It's more synthy goodness. And again, you get the 50s vibe on the tune. It's just a great song. So number 4 is Mona. What was that?
Don't you worry about that. Some of us are old, Chris, and forget to turn our volume off on our phone.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Did you say some of us are old?
Yeah.
Oh.
That was me.
Hey, listen, I'm only going to be 50 in this month, so, come on.
Hey, you look good. You're wearing a Kiss shirt, so that makes you cool.
Well, here's the thing. Music keeps you young. So, I think.
Let me write that down. All right, Alan.
Oh yeah, my number 4 was Good Time, because it's really good. It's got I'm pretty sure it definitely was recorded earlier, because I have it on my Feel Flows box set, which is like the 69 to 70 sessions or whatever. So, and Brian's voice is super clear, getting those high notes and everything. He's really singing it super well, and there's real instruments and stuff. So I'm pretty sure it was recorded before the Love You sessions. I don't know, but But yeah, it's really good, just real polished.
So then they just took that recording and popped it on Love You?
I think so, because on the box set it's the same recording.
I think it was 1970. Yeah.
So sorry, what did you say?
I think it was 1970. So yeah, it predates it quite a bit.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and I think you can really tell with the vocals, they're very clear. I think so. Yeah.
So Nicholas says, I think Adult Child is even better than this album.
Wow.
I would agree.
Yeah.
But
wow, I gotta get it someday, hopefully.
Well, you can hear it on YouTube.
Yeah. The thing is, I don't know. I like the official release of it, like if they ever do it.
And nowadays I get nervous if it's going to be like an AI version or something.
Yeah.
I don't want to accidentally listen to something that wasn't the real one. Yeah.
All right. Good Time was written for spring. There's an earlier version of it on YouTube. I agree. Well, Alan, we have the very same number 4. Congratulations. You've won a prize.
Yay.
You get to do another
Somewhere in Paradise on CD. Yeah, my number 4 is Good Time. The part of the song I really love is Maybe It Won't Last, But What Do We Care? Is that Al Jardine singing that part? Or
it's all Brian.
I think
is it that Brian?
Yeah.
I love his vocals on that. Wow. Yeah. So that's my number 4.
All right. Top 3, gentlemen.
Woo-hoo!
Well, I'll keep the Good Time conversation because that's number 3 for me. For all the same reasons that everybody mentioned. It's solid vocals. Again, it was, Brian a few years prior. So he was, 28, I guess, when those vocals were put up. But yeah, I mean, we've all kind of just talked about it already. It's just a solid Brian Wilson tune. I love it. So it's number 3.
All right, my number 3 is Roller Skating Child.
Wow.
Catchy.
That's too high, Chris.
Catchy freaking chorus. I also love "We'll Make Sweet Love When the Sun Goes Down."
Yeah.
It's just.
Oh. Somebody really didn't like him picking that song.
We'll wait for him.
Yeah.
I'm really curious what everyone's going to have for their number 1. I think they're all going to be different.
They could be different. Well, no, Larry mentioned that earlier, I think.
Yeah, we mentioned Night Was So Young. I had it at number 12.
Yeah. No, while we're waiting for Chris, have there been any other, has there been additional talk about the potential remastering of this? Because I know, they've put out a new box set the last couple of years. I mean, with the Wild Honey thing, and then Feel Flows.
Yeah. This one, I've got the twofers for Sunflower and Surf's Up, I think. And I think the way they remastered or remixed, was it Sunflower? It might have been. Yeah, Sunflower. I thought it was kind of bad. I preferred the earlier version of it.
Yeah, that's the only version I've ever heard.
It's Chris and Alan.
So I don't know. I'm stupid. Another call just came in, and it shot me off. So I don't know if next time I have to silence my phone or what. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. You don't have a laptop we can use?
It's a little bad. So, we could try.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
All right.
Yeah.
VCLT Chris a laptop.
Yeah. Can somebody VCLT me a laptop? So where are we up to here?
Number
3. You were still talking 3.
Oh yeah, I just liked "We'll Make Sweet Love When the Sun Goes Down."
Yeah, but what lyric do you like?
That's my favorite lyric of the whole album.
Not Pat.
Pat. No, it's my second favorite lyric.
Okay, my number 3 is I Want to Pick You Up, because
that's too high.
I love that song a lot. The chords are great. I think the progression is great. At the end, the harmonies that come in are as beautiful, I think, as they could do in the 77. So That's a good song. I like the I like the pattern on her butt too. Yeah, it's I don't like, it's the subject matter.
You've said enough.
Yeah. But it's a great song.
It is cool chord progression though.
Yeah, and if I just want to say, if you don't think it's a good song, that's all right, but listen to it again. Just keep listening to it.
I hope Glenn Kellaway from the basement is listening.
I can tell you he's not. But
my number 3, this song kind of grew on me, and it's Brian Wilson is just teaching us about the solar system. And it's a great song. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Wow. All 3 of you had top 3 songs. I read my bottom 5. Number 2 for me, I think has gone around the horn already, but I'm going to go with Mona for my number 2. I love, again, the 50s feel to it, kind of the heavy piano pounding almost. Yeah, I mean, I love Dennis's voice. I mean, I'm somebody that loves, songwriter type voices, so I don't need crystal clear voices. I mean, I'm a Tom Waits fan, but I really like the voice on this. And yeah, every time that he gets to the end of a bar with everybody coming in on the lyrics, I think it's really good. And again, I forgot about the song until re-listening to this album, this year, and yeah, really, really enjoyed it. I think Dennis is very underappreciated as a Beach Boy. Everybody wants to say, he's to use the expression, he's the Ringo of the group. He didn't bring any kind of, writing or anything really. But I mean, Dennis could have had a career in of himself if Brian Wilson wasn't his brother, Yeah. So, yeah, Mona, number 2.
Okay.
My number 2 is The Night Was So Young. And I believe Carl Wilson sings this tune. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
sounds like it.
But so. The thing that makes the song for me is that little guitar lick. It's like the night was so young. I don't know. Every time that comes on, I just love that. And this could have been on 2020's Sunflower, Surf's Up. I mean, it's just it has a more realized sound than some of the other songs. Yeah, so my number 2 is The Night Was So Young. And
now for the third time, my number 2 was The Night Was So Young. And that because it reminds me of something that would be on like the Beach Boys today. Really, something like one of those sort of songs. Like if it wasn't with all the, all those production elements. Yeah, but I think Brian has a falsetto in the background that's a little bit damaged, and it's still nice. All the harmonies are very nice, very pretty. That's a great song. Tell me why we have to high.
Yeah.
Why we have to high.
But yeah, he was so young. I think is it about like why he should have to hide a love affair that he's had? Isn't it?
It was about Brian's love affair, his mistress, which is funny because Marilyn's on the record and singing about a lady. Anyway.
I thought it was about changing a baby's diaper. No,
that was on Adult Child. Yeah, that was a hidden track in the run out. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. My number 2 is the one I thought was the duet, but it's Let's Put Our Hearts Together. Once again, I love Brian's vocals, and I think his wife at the time, I love her vocals on it too, and I think it's a very sweet song. So it's my number 2. Now, the number 1. I wonder if I don't know if we're all going to have different number 1s, but
I think we are.
Yeah.
For me, number 1 is The Night Was So Young. I mean, easy pick for me. Because I mean, the instrumentation sounds almost Wrecking Crew type. I mean, it harkens back to that mid to late 60s Beach Boys, which I like a lot. I love that whole, high part, which brings it into the 70s. That particular harmony sounds like 70s Beach Boys, with Holland and that sort of stuff. I love Carl's voice, and again, kind of him taking the lead for the Beach Boys for so many years after, Brian had his breakdown, and was kind of in and out of the group really from that point up until Carl's death. But I think it's a perfect tune. Definitely could have been a hit if the Beach Boys were actually popular in 1977.
Yeah.
But I think again, push it back 10 years or so. The Beach Boys would have had another hit with this one. And there is a version of this song. There was a record that came out in conjunction with the Brian Wilson Long Promised Road documentary. An album came out with that. It was 2021 or so. And there's a version of Brian doing this, which is really good as well on that record if you don't have it. So check that one out. But yeah, easy pick for me. Night Was So Young.
Okay. I'll go before Chris and Alan, just so, you can go together, and curious if you match.
Oh, okay.
My number one is honking down the gosh darn highway. I love it. It's just, you can't, you got to smile when you hear it, right? Like, and it kind of shows Brian's innocence too, I guess. Like, yep. And I think he has more of a sense of humor than we take him for granted for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my number one.
Well, my number one is the first song on the album, Let Us Go On This Way.
Yeah.
I love that song. I feel like the harmonies on that song are so strong. But my favorite part is the bridge with the lyrics, seems we have extrasensory perception.
Yeah.
I feel like that part comes out of nowhere, and that makes the song for me.
With the Mike Love, I think it's Mike Love singing.
Yeah, it's such a cool tune, and I think that's why they put it first, because it's the best song on the album. So
that's a dumb idea.
Yeah.
My number one is Who's the Man That We Admire? Johnny Carson is.
I think it's a great song. Yeah.
Wow.
That's my number one song, because
that's a bold number one.
Yeah. I love the boom bam boom bam, but like it's like it reminds me of like Stephen Sondheim or something like that, where it's like it comes in, comes out. There's a bunch of different instruments. It like makes you move when you listen to it. I like that song a lot, and I love Night Show, and Brian and Johnny Carson, everybody.
I know that Alan is your son because he mentioned Stephen Sondheim.
Right? Yeah. Who else? What 17-year-old kid is referencing Sondheim? Right? I think I used the term slinky arrangement for that. Slinky. Yeah. I don't even know if that's a word.
Sure.
And Ron says Sparks could have done that song. Actually, the engineer for this album was Earle Mankey, and he was the Sparks guitarist for their first two albums. So there is a Sparks connection.
Well, that actually makes a lot of sense now that you say that, Larry, because I know how much you love Sparks. And that's why I think this album is not strange to you, because Sparks does, I'll just say strange songs, but they're kind of out there. So this is right up your alley.
Yeah.
And you got me into Sparks. So
yeah. The one thing that kind of bugs me about the Beach Boys albums in the late 60s, early 70s is some of the albums are like 26 minutes long.
Yeah.
Like, geez.
And then this one's 33.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing. I in like the YouTube. I like going to YouTube to look at music, because you can look at the comments and see what people think. Yeah. But usually everybody who's looking at something on YouTube is like, "This is the best song ever." But the comments on like Ding Dang and everything, or a lot of songs in this album, are just like, "I wish it was longer."
Yeah, and some of especially like on Sunflower and all that, it's like a 2-minute song and it just fades out. Like so many of their songs just fade out quickly.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like not completely finished, but
or like there was more that they're not letting hear. Yeah.
What's also cool is that the vinyl has a textured cover.
Wow.
So you get the ASMR thing too.
You can pat it.
It is textured.
Oh man.
So I was thinking, if you guys agree, the next album, if you would like to participate, we could rank the songs on Sunflower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd definitely be into that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll catch up here. This Whole World, great tune, but too short.
Yeah.
I agree. Daddy Bog doesn't even hit 2 minutes. Yeah. But I don't know. The whole Beach Boys in the 60s, early 70s, they were, I think they were maybe even more experimental than the Beatles with some of the things they did. Like even early on, they would have, those spoken word goofy tracks. The Beatles never did that. Like,
Yeah.
The California Saga. I love that.
Yeah.
That's not earlier, but well, I guess that's in the 70s. But yeah, I love that stuff, just because it's different.
Well, I think the other thing too is the Beach Boys changed, I think, with every album, because you had mentioned Carl and the Passions before. It's like, all right, let's bring in Blondie Chaplin and what's the other
Ricky Fattar. Yeah.
Ricky Fattar, and do like an R&B sort of gospel album.
Yeah.
And then yeah, they were kind of all over the place.
Yep.
And I just wanted to say one thing to I already forget your name, Sam. Sorry, I'm really good with names.
I'm a celebrity, Alan. You need to remember.
I'm sorry about that. Yeah, sorry. I remember Canadian Stud Muffin, but not Sam. Sorry about that. But
well, Sam St. John, he is like he was saying, he is an internet celebrity.
He's got the best hair on YouTube.
He does.
I'm not going to argue with that. but I was going to say, if you like Al Jardine's vocals, like later vocals, if you haven't listened to it on the Brian Wilson side of things, like the No Pure Pressure album, that's got. If you don't, I mean, you.
Yeah.
That's really good for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Alan's been playing me a lot of the songs off of No Pure Pressure. It's very good.
Yeah,
it's
almost like a duet album, but
yeah, there's a lot of production, but they're still good songs.
I think so too, because a lot of those songs were supposed to be like part 2 of That's Why God Made the Radio, but Mike Love said, "See y'all later."
Yeah, and I think he was supposed to have even like Lana Del Rey do a song on there too, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably, yeah, because there's everybody that was on Capitol Records in 2014.
Okay, yeah, so there's like Nate Ruess and stuff like that.
Yeah, She and Him. I love the She and Him tune on The Island. It's a great tune.
That's a really good song.
Yeah.
I think Alan needs a YouTube channel.
You should call it Alan Prophy, Musically Obsessed.
Yeah, that would be that would be good.
Yeah.
That would be funny.
Yeah. And you could have it like linked in your channel.
Thank you. Well, that's the thing. I think if you would get a lot of subs right away. Well, because I'm an internet celebrity, just as
nepotism. Yeah.
Larry are, so you get subs like right away.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, especially being on this live stream, right? It was three powerhouses of the vinyl community. So,
well, yeah, I mean, we are. If it wasn't for Larry, me, and Sam,
YouTube would crumble.
There would be no YouTube.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, I hope they release a stereo version of the Smile Session so Larry can fully enjoy it. Yeah, because I listen to headphones mainly, so I always prefer stereo.
But no, I will jump on that real quick, just because it's always good to hear from other people that aren't your dad. You should do a YouTube channel, Alan.
Yeah, seriously, yeah.
I've always kind of thought about doing so. Well, I mean, every kid is like, I want to do a video game YouTube channel.
Well, look, if your dad can do it,
that's true.
I mean, I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about half the time.
It's a last resort hobby. Yeah.
So, and I think it's kind of cool to hear from a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
Their perspective on things.
And for $5, Alan, I would subscribe to your channel.
Yeah.
Oh wow. And it's even free though on YouTube. So wow.
Well, you can get a Patreon at some point,
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Exclusive videos.
Yeah. So I'm just curious, before we end this soon, what are some of your favorite Beach Boys albums? Sam, you go first.
Well, I mean, obviously, my favorite of all time is Pet Sounds. But Surf's Up is way up there for me by the Beach Boys. I do really like Holland a lot. I mentioned that earlier. I mean, for me, because I'm a Christmas guy, I love their Christmas album. But I mean, I love Christmas albums as it is. Let me think. Friends is good. It's again very, very short. I like Wild Honey a lot. I love the song Darlin'. That's a great tune. And that's why God Made the Radio. I really, really, really love that record. So those are a few off the top.
Yeah. Okay.
Chris? Well, I'm going to tell you an underrated album. I think Keeping the Summer Alive is a very underrated album. That came out, I think, was it 79 or 80? I can't remember. But
I think so. Yeah.
Got some really great songs on it. There's a song on there called Santa Ana Winds, which is really good. I also am a huge fan of MIU. I think MIU is a great album. It's got the song My Diane on there. I also love Hey Little Tomboy. Again, I know that that's got some questionable lyrics, but that's a great album. And, you know, Alan had mentioned Holland before because you've got what's the suite again?
The California
Saga.
The Beaks of Eagles.
Yeah, that's, I mean, listen, if you gave me any album from the 70s, I'd be like, yeah, because like, you know, Sam had mentioned Wild Honey. I love Wild Honey too. I think every album kind of offers a little something different.
Yeah.
I really like MIU and Holland and stuff like that. I like Holland because of the fairy tale, the Mount Vernon and fairy.
Yeah.
Just different, you know. I really like that. And Funky Pretty, that's a really cool song. All the synthy songs are cool. But Friends, I really like that album. I like 2020. I like Today. Beach Boys Today is probably my favorite Beach Boys album. The Beach Boys Today, because that confuses me when people say like Pet Sounds was like out of left field or whatever. Like you listen to Today and it's like you can sort of see that they were heading in that direction.
Yeah.
Today is a fantastic album, and I don't know if Little Deuce Coupe. If that's just a collection of songs or if that's an album. I think it's an album. I don't know. That's great.
I think it's an album. Yeah, but I think some of the songs like Shut Down, like some of the songs crossed over with make a concept. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a concept sort of album. That's proud. Those are my two favorite Beach Boys albums, either of all time or at least right now.
Today and Little Deuce Coupe.
Today, yeah.
Well,
because they're great. I think they're great. The harmony.
Yeah.
And just talking about Surf's Up for a minute, which is one of my favorites. I think side 2 of Surf's Up is one of the best sides of music ever. But what does everybody?
Isn't Fuel Flows on side 2?
Yeah, that's what it starts with. What does everybody think of? Because it gets a lot of flack. You know where I'm going, Sam?
I don't.
Surf's Up. What does everybody think of student demonstration time?
Here's my thing with that song. The sound effects.
Yeah, too loud.
Yeah,
like the megaphone and everything.
The whole song is too loud.
Yeah, I feel like it doesn't really fit on the album. I don't know.
Well, it's a Lieber and Stoller tune with new lyrics, right?
Yeah, Riot and Cell Block Number 9.
Yeah, there's a riot going on. Yeah.
I really like student demonstration time because the topical lyrics like of the Kent State University riots or whatever and all that stuff. That's cool. I think it's cool for that sort of historical aspect or whatever. I think I like the sirens too, just because it's it's different. I like that. But if it is loud, you can't really. When you're trying to go to sleep, it's like,
Ron hates it. I hate it.
I understand that though. That makes. I mean, I could see how you.
Which on the is it on the Field Flows? There's a version of them doing the original Subblock, like it was on the live record. Yeah.
Yeah, I just listened to all those like live versions from that box set, and they're pretty. I like the live stuff. Apparently the Beach Boys live album is also pretty good.
Yeah, from Live in Hawaii. Is that what it is?
Like with the red cover or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently that's pretty good. So I haven't listened to that though.
Yeah.
What was the live album they did with Blondie Chaplin and all that?
Was that?
I thought it came out in the 70s.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, I have it on CD. I can't remember what it's called either. That's a great live album too. It must have come out. Maybe it was the Holland tour.
Yeah, because they were only in the band for like 3 years. Him and Ricky.
Yeah, it was either Holland tour or Carl and the Passions. So,
and Carl's, well, there's a few Carl songs I absolutely love, like Long Promised Road.
Yeah.
Like it's not even a Beach Boys kind of a song. It's more harder edged, and I love that.
Talking about like getting through obstacles in your life.
Yeah.
And it's got that's a great song. Surf's Up is another one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Because that's a great album. A Day in the Life of a Tree is a great song.
Yeah.
Don't go near the water, though. Don't go near that water.
No. Don't go near the water.
Yeah, and then Till I Die, it's just like a masterpiece, and Surf's Up.
Yeah.
What is Glenn not like about the Beach Boys?
Well, he does like the Beach Boys. It's just, just their hits, I guess, basically. Like,
yeah. So it sounds like he might be thrown off by the lyrics for the most part.
And the Beach Boys aren't cool, okay?
The Beach Boys aren't cool.
Like the Beatles were.
Well, I'm a huge Monkees fan too, and I don't know how cool the Monkees are.
I thought the Monkees were pretty cool back in the 60s, yeah.
I think in the 60s they were, but they lost favor over time, being like the manufactured thing.
Yeah.
And the Beach Boys did put out some nice album covers like Surf's Up. I think that's a classic,
I love that, because isn't it the devil on a horse or something like that? The horns?
Yeah.
It's a reference to like a painting or a sculpture or something.
Yeah.
Or some sort of something.
So maybe in 2 weeks we can do this again and rank the songs on Sunflower.
Yeah.
Yeah. And after that, in a couple weeks after that, which album would you like to do after?
I don't know. I mean, you had mentioned, Friends could be interesting.
Friends, Surf's Up. Yeah.
Yeah, Surf's Up, one of those.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is out of place maybe, but I just got a song about cleaning my toes. Yeah. That was what was that on Surf's Up?
Oh yeah.
Take a load off your feet.
Yeah.
I like that song a lot. I like the little spoons, like
yeah.
stuff in the background. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
How many people were watching this live stream too?
You won't believe it. And this proves to you, Chris, how popular I am on YouTube. Right now, there's 15 people watching.
15.
Wow. Well, we should have Molly on too.
Yeah. Well, she just left today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Does she like the Beach Boys?
Oh, yeah. So I think
she kind of has to like the Beach Boys.
She has to. And she has to like Sparks. Yeah. She actually, I guess she thought Sparks were okay, but when she saw them in concert, that's when she she got it, I guess. Yeah. So that's about it. Sam, tell us about your YouTube channel. You have 20 seconds.
I do. Yeah, I have a YouTube channel. It's just my name, Sam St. John. So sub it up. I do a lot of concert reviews. I go to a lot of shows. Big into the singer-songwriter thing. I talk about Bob Dylan, John Prine, Tom Petty, the Monkees, though. I do love the Monkees. I talk about them a bit. I talk a lot about newer songwriter, folky, indie kind of stuff as well. But yeah, obviously love the Beatles, love all that stuff. I go live from time to time playing guitar, kind of like Chris Prophy. That'll be my segue into Chris Prophy. But come subscribe if you've never heard of me. And I'll talk about a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I think.
Chris.
My channel is Chris Prophy, Musically Obsessed, as we were saying before. Like Sam, every once in a while I haven't done this in a while, but I'll get on and play the guitar every once in a while. I talk about everything from the Monkees and the Beatles to I love heavy metal, I love jazz, show tunes. I kind of run the gamut with music. I also do I show CD finds. I collect CDs and vinyl, so I'll show CD finds, vinyl finds. I've also started this new series, which has been people seem to like it. It's nothing new. It's called Disliked Albums. So I talked about Neil Young's Landing on Water.
I love that album.
Yeah, me too.
I do.
I talked about Peter Criss from Kiss, his solo record. And then I just talked about 2 Iron Maiden albums where Bruce Dickinson had left. So I've got some other ideas for other albums that are, disliked in people's catalogs.
Yeah.
And Alan, tell us about your upcoming YouTube channel. No, but I'd like to know what other artists you like.
I like Paul McCartney. I like the Beatles a lot, and Paul McCartney is like my favorite Beatle. I listen to a lot of his solo albums. Not all of them because there's too many to do that, I think. But not really. I'm going to try to listen to all of them. But yeah, I love Ram. McCartney 3 is actually really good. I really like that. Deep Feeling. That's a really cool song. Where he kind of experiments with the sound collage or whatever.
A loop pedal almost.
Yeah. It's really cool. And Paul Simon. That There Goes Rhyme and Simon or whatever, and his first album I really like. And then I'm kind of in I live in a kind of a hole or under a rock or whatever, I guess you could say, because I just listened to pretty much the Beach Boys and the Beatles and Brian Wilson. Smile is a fantastic album. I'm a shut-in.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he loves. You like the Smile Sessions.
Oh yeah, Smile Sessions, yeah too. So I guess if that.
But he's like, Dad, listen to how this song goes into the next song, and Mrs. O'Leary's Cow or something like that, and he really delves into it.
I love on the Smile Sessions. I mean, I've said it a million times. That's the best version of Good Vibrations with the hum-de-da part, and then the cantina part of Heroes and Villains is fantastic.
Yeah, and those they were nixed from like the Smiley Smile versions and stuff like that. Yeah. But you listen to the Smile Sessions too, but you can hear that the ideas were pretty much finished, but he wasn't allowed to finish it because and Smile is basically the same.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Yeah.
To hear the Beach Boys singing it too.
So you think you might start up a YouTube channel?
Yeah,
one thing that really seriously think about it is the name, because I think that's important. So get some help with your dad, maybe, or
I'd have to. I don't know what I would call it. I mean, probably something with my name, I guess, probably. But yeah, I don't know what I would talk about either. But
you talk about what you. I mean, you talk if you talk about the Beatles, the Beach Boys, Paul Simon. Yeah. Most people like to hear stuff, and like I was saying, like people want to hear a younger person's perspective on those artists, because obviously that's music back from the 60s. So it's kind of interesting. I don't know a lot of 17-year-olds that are listening to the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
So
but yeah, but I also remembered. Sorry, I like a lot of like music from the 40s and stuff like that, like Ella Fitzgerald and stuff like that.
Yeah, I love that.
Bob Crosby.
If you ever start up a YouTube channel, I'll do a live chat to promote it for $25 through PayPal.
Okay,
wow, that's a good deal.
Yeah, that's
no. Pay your dues.
I'm here to make a profit, Chris.
Yeah,
not for friendships.
Yeah, well, me too, Larry. That's why I'm making a bunch of shorts.
Yeah, I'm getting into jazz, like Miles Davis, quite a bit now, and I love that. Yeah,
me too.
If you want to blow your mind, Larry, listen to Ornette Coleman.
Okay.
Like, he is just out there.
Yeah.
Alan and I were listening to this. I was playing him some stuff on the car, and like it's just out there jazz.
Yeah.
And if you like if you like melodic jazz, if you're into video games, there's a lot of the Call of Duty games have for their secondary side mode, like they have Treyarch is the company that makes them. This sounds very weird. They have a very good sound team, and they make really good music for games. So if you like jazz, they have a couple of cool jazzy sort of.
Yeah, like Alan will be listening to a song. I'm like, where'd you hear this song? It's like from the 40s or whatever. He's like, oh, it was in a video game that I was playing. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, those come from a lot of Fallout games. Have older music in them, and it's cool. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to thank everybody for this, and
thanks everybody.
Thank all of the viewers that were part of it. Please check out the channels for Sam and Chris. I'll have a link below this once this is done. And thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Larry.
Thanks, Larry.
Bye.
Nice meeting you, Alan.
Nice meeting you too. All